My name is Ahmed Ali. I'm the Director of Social Injustice and Education in Inquality. Last Saturday, August 14, 2021, we invited Mike Nickel, who's running Edmonton City Mayoral candidate. And he came and he accepted our invitation. And also the people who came, to that forum, that event, was containing different communities and Somali at large. And most of the Somali leaders was there. And he talked about his platform, how he is going to run city of Edmonton. His platform was very clear: to help the communities, to secure the safety of the Edmontonians, to reform the Edmonton city, to build the infrastructure, to facilitate, the communities and the city, leaders to work together, how the city can be improved. And he talked about it, the property owners, to reduce the tax, and at that time to attract the other people to come to the city. And it was very clear, it was very successful. And we, for Somali community and our association that has been, sponsored and hosted for that event, asking from the Somali community to vote for Mike Nickel, because his platform is very, very successful and it will help our community. From the beginning that he came to the office and he promised that he's there for us. Anigoo Ahmed Ali Dhiiro, ahna Director Social Injustice and Education and Equality. Sabtidii hadda aan soo dhaafnay August 14, 2021, waxaan casuumay Mike Nickel oo u tartamaya Edmonton Mayor oo doorashadeeda dhici doonto October 18. ninkaasoo noo yimid iyadoo ay kasoo qaybgaleen community kala duwan, dignitaries iyo Soomaali fara badan, odayaasha Soomaalida iyo iyo haweenba. Xafladaasu si fiican u dhacday. Mike Nickel wuxuu ka hadlay siyaasadiisa guud, sida uu u rangarayn doono. Uu ahaa nin hambala oo wixiisuna ay cad yihiin, very clearna ay yihiin. Ahna nin two-term councillor, city councillor. Termkan dhammaanayana wuxuu isku sharaxay mayor. Taas ayaa waxay keentay in Soomaalida meesha timid iyo intii maqashayba inay u riyaaqaan platformkiisa, kaasoo ahaa platform very clear oo very successful markii aad eegto sida uu ula shaqayn doono community-yada iyo businessyada, property ownerska oo taxka laga dhimo, infrastructure-ka, recreation-ka, security-ga iyo safety-ga Edmonton. Marka ninkaas saas u sharaxay, aad iyo aad ayaan ugu farxnay, ugu mahadcelinaynaa. Waxaan leenahay Soomaalida aan ku leeyahay Soomaali weynay u vote gareeya isaga, sababtu waxay tahay waxa waaye platformkiisu aad iyo aad wuxuu u anfacayaa community-ga. Assalamu alaikum. Mr. Mike Nickel, Honorable Mike Nickel, welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Robin. We were having a great conversation about concrete, actually, because my family, we come from construction. And for years and years and years, my father came over here after the war, started business in 1960, and we've been in business ever since. So we're masonry, marble, tile, granite. And I was getting schooled again on concrete because I forgot all that stuff from years and years and years ago. So, but thank you very much, and assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much for having me, everyone. It is a privilege to be here today. So, where do you even begin? Where do you even start? So let's start why I'm running for mayor. I've been a councillor for 8 years. I believe in term limits, so 2 terms is enough for any politician, in my opinion. So it's time to move out, right, and let somebody else have a whack at it. And so when I sat down with my wife and my family, and when my father was still alive, we had a conversation about whether or not I should go back into politics. Because being in politics right now, a lot of people think it's a bit of a tough road. It is, for some, it's a bit of a tough road. For me, it's never been a tough road because it's not about me. Politics is not about me, it's about you. And many people out there, they'll say me all the time. You've heard many politicians come up and say me, and I'm not doing that today. I'm going to talk about you, because that's who I work for. So they can call me all kinds of names they want. They can go out there and they can, well, it's a rough and tumble sport, but actually when I know I'm working for you, it's not as hard as you think. And what I see is we have a lot of problems in this city that we need fixing. And it starts that we have 3 priorities, and I get right to it at the core, right? So we talk about jobs and the economy, we talk about right-sizing the administration, and then we talk about crime and safety. These are the 3 biggest issues that I see in the city of Edmonton today. So let's start at the bottom. Let's talk about crime and safety in the city. I do not see how it is compassionate to when you go downtown and you see some of these folks that are wandering our streets, that are basically are addicts of some kind, or you see them, they have mental or some sort of addiction issue. And I do not see how it is compassionate to let these people roam the streets anymore. And so at the end of the day, the issues around homelessness need to be focused on treatment for trauma and addiction. And we need to get these people off our streets to a place where they can get to a place where they can be repaired as best as we can. The fact of the matter is downtown is not safe, in my opinion, and many parts of our community are experiencing an increase in crime. And when you see people wandering the streets and people are not feeling safe, something has to be done. And far too long our city council has looked away, didn't want to face the issue. Last week, I think it was last week, Matt, or the week before, I put out a travel advisory for the downtown core. And I got some flack from a lot of people downtown say, how can you do that? You're scaring away our business, they said to me. I told my wife, when you go downtown, watch out, because crime has gone like this. And I told my kids, I said, when you go downtown, watch out. So I basically said to Matt, I said, we should tell everybody else, because why would I not tell everyone else what I'm telling my own family? And the fact of the matter is, I think we all know this is to be the case. And so now is not the time, to be quite honest, to defund the police. It's not quite the time to turn around and turn a blind eye to these folks that are indeed in need of help. So we can talk about that a little bit. And then the next issue I talk about is right-sizing the administration. So what we have right now, after 20 years of tax increases, 20 years of the bill going up and up and up, you got to ask yourself the question, are you going forward or are you going backwards? Many of you came to this country looking for opportunity. Many of you came to this country seeking a better life. But right now, as I see it today, is that we're not going forward, we're going backwards, because taxes are too high, we have too much red tape, we are overmanaged by an administration that is top-heavy, and I can't even attract business to this town, given how high our taxes are. You just have to look at your property taxes and ask a very simple question. Can you afford to stay in your home if it keeps going like this? And to be quite honest, I don't know how a lot of people do it, particularly seniors. They talk about seniors, they talk about all these issues around seniors and how we want to help them. Well, the quickest way to help a senior is to help them stay in their home, and that's to lower the bill to stay in that home. It's not rocket science. So how do we do this? How do we take this city hall that's working for somebody else? They're not working for you, in my opinion. They're working for somebody else. I call them the downtowners, but that's a whole other story. So first of all, I have a lot of labor support in this town. People find that surprising because I've been in business here for quite some time in the city of Edmonton. Like I told you, my family started in 1960. But we have quite a lot of labor support in this city because they even can't stand it. They cannot stand it. In some places I have up to 11 layers of management between the top and the bottom. And anybody who's been in business or an organization knows that's a lot of managers managing managers managing managers. And what happens? Your costs go up, right? Your client kind of service goes down, and nothing seems to get done. So I've sat down, we're drafting a plan with my major unions in town to trim 2 layers of city management in the city of Edmonton. That'll save us $50 million a year. $50 million a year. And then on the other side, we have a lot of problems in building anything in the city of Edmonton. If you go to my website or you look at my policies, you can see when we build something, capital programs, it's never on time, it's never on budget. As a matter of fact, they keep moving the goalposts, and it just costs more and more and more. And so the city of Edmonton is a $3.2 billion operating budget, right? That's just to run things. But our capital budget is $9 billion. $9 billion. And I get frustrated sometimes, I won't lie to you, because I have a lot of people on city council that do not seem to understand where the money comes from, number one, which is you. And number two, they don't seem to understand how money works. That it's your money, and when they waste your money, I feel they're wasting your time, and when they waste your time, I think that's a moral affront. To me, that's a moral affront. And so on this $9 billion, I call now, since we can't do anything, I call for an independent project management office. We're going to separate the delivery of these large capital projects like bridges and rec centers and so on from the politicized bureaucracy and the administration to another group of people that'll have a second pair of eyes on it. I've talked over with many engineers, many project managers, and we feel we can save easily 10% to 15% for every $100 million. Easily, just by reducing overhead, management, and the consultants. I cannot tell you, over the last 5 years, and this is why I say it's your turn to get ahead. Over the last 5, between 2015, I think it was, and 2020, but I'd have to be corrected on the time frame. Maybe it's 2014. 5 years, we spent $625 million just on consultants. On consultants. So what did you get for that $625 million? And that's not a small amount of money. It's a massive amount of money that should have been staying in your pocket. Why is it important to put money in your pocket? Some politicians don't seem to get this, because I believe that you have the right to choose. You need more freedom. We have too much city hall in our lives, to be quite honest. And so when I leave more money in your pocket, you can make the choices that's best for you. Not city hall taking your money and then giving your money back and telling what's best for you. No. That doesn't work for me. You make the best decisions, not the government. City Hall's the problem, you're not the problem. I feel very strongly about that. I believe very, very strongly in supporting opportunity and freedom for the ordinary Edmontonian. That really motivates me in politics. It really, really does. So, and then I have a lot of other things that I talk about with regards to where we can save lots and lots of money. We do not need to raise taxes. Matter of fact, I'm promising a 3.5% tax reduction with some of that money, and then some of that money I'm going to plow back into frontline services. Do you not find it odd that City Hall can't seem to cut the grass anymore? That City Hall can't seem to pick up the snow? They can't fix the roads? You know something's wrong in an organization when they can't do the basics anymore. So if this doesn't say we need a change, it's right here. Filling potholes is our business. Cutting the grass is our business. Picking up the snow is our business. And are you happy with the way it is right now? I would say no. I'd say we can do better. And I know we can do better. Matter of fact, if we just push and hold people accountable, we will do better. So that talks about what we want to do there. We're going to talk about cutting red tape, because now we talk about the next and probably the most important part of the platform. Edmonton has everything it needs going for the next 25 years. The problem is it's so badly managed. What we need to talk about is jobs and the economy. Unemployment right now is sitting, they officially say about 9.3%. Then you have your official number, and then you have people who stop looking for work, and you start putting that number on top of that, it's in double digits. And the last time I've seen it this bad was back in the 1980s, and I don't know if some of you folks remember the 1980s, under the NEP. How many jobs we lost, how many businesses went bankrupt, how the banks came in here and basically were predators, destroying perfectly good companies. And Edmonton was on its knees. This is 10 times worse. After COVID, we are in a very, very bad state. So this has all got to be about how are we going to put people back to work as a city, because I'm not going to wait for Mr. Kenney, I'm not going to wait for Mr. Trudeau, because they got their own problems. They got their own problems. Edmonton needs to take care of itself. Right? We got to take care of ourselves at this point. And so what are we going to do? The first step you have to do is that you shouldn't have to wait 8-10 weeks for a deck permit, or 7 weeks for a gas inspection. That's how much red tape I have. I have people coming to City Hall and they can't get anything done because there's so much red tape. So I talk about mandatory permitting times. And it's really, I focus on this for an example because this is how I approach government, how I approach all my organizations. You got two choices in life. You can fix the result and let the process vary, or you can fix the process and let the results go all over the map. We're going to fix the result, and they're going to have to catch up. City Hall is going to have to catch up because I need performance for you because you're my client. My ambition, it's probably because I come from manufacturing, I come from construction, is this city needs to be a town that builds things again. This needs to be a city that exports again. If we're going to move forward for the next 25 years, and we have a lot of things changing in the economy, technology is really going to change everything in the next 10 to 15 years. If we don't focus on exports, bringing money to town, bringing money inside to Edmonton here, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. We're going to go backwards, and we're going to be, I'm scared to think about where we're going to be. So my focus is on commercial and industrial. I guess I'm a blue-collar guy. I always will be a blue-collar guy at the end of the day. And I believe that industrial and commercial is where our future lies. I think we have opportunities in mining in this province. It's not just all about oil and gas. It always will be here. And trust me, I'm out at Nisku. I am not one of these folks that'll stand up and say, oh, oil is bad. No, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. So if you're one of those folks, well, I'm sorry, you can vote for somebody else. I always tell people that. And so we have a bunch of policy coming out to support the small business owner, the medium business owner, right? When you lower taxes, when you deal with the red tape, and when you have a mayor willing to help you bring business to town, which we haven't had in quite some time, I think things can start to happen. Just the other day, I was talking to some people from another community, and we were talking about where are the opportunities you folks can bring. The real strength in Edmonton is the diversity of its community. I come from Mill Woods. That's where I grew up. My Grey Nuns Hospital used to be where our farm was. So that's where I come from. I was always on a farm for most of my life. And I've always looked at, in Mill Woods, it's kind of different in sense than some parts of the city is that we have, it's probably the most diverse, one of the most diverse wards in the city. But the one thing we all share in common is that we all want opportunity and we all want to make some money. And there's nothing wrong with running a business and actually trying to build something. I always find in my family, building is more important than actually having the money. Building for my family has always been the fun part. And so I look at the communities that I have in Edmonton, be them from, whatever part of the world you want to talk about. You can be the economic ambassadors that I need to bring opportunity to this city. I've traveled quite a fair bit. I've done a lot of business in Asia, done a lot of business in South America, some business in Europe. And the fact is, not every deal that we shouldn't take every deal. We need the right deal to fit Edmonton. And so we need to get that number down, and then we can talk about youth unemployment. What's the future for your kids, or your grandkids, sorry. I see some gray hair here, so I got to throw in the grandkids. And I have an 18-year-old and I have a 15-year-old. And in 1990, when I was coming out, in 89, when I was coming out of university, there was no opportunity here. To them, and I think they need to listen to you. That's the difference in my approach. So that's all really all I have to say, because what you see is what you get. I'm not fancy, I'm nothing special. I really believe that I'm nothing special. I'm just a person who works, and I'm a grinder. We were talking about, you say, I was asking, how's things going? I say, it's just getting a shovel out and digging a ditch some days. That's all it is some days, right? Just get out there, grind it out, dig that ditch. So after 8 years, it's time for a change. So I hope you can support me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I wanted to share with you one thing. On July 1st, that was a Canada Day, Mike Nickel, he came to our sports association. And the German, he's here for Somali Football Association German, Mr. Jelani. He met with Mr. Janali. And at the same time, there was a member from my association who was wearing and he is the only person, the only candidate, whether there is a council candidates or mayoral candidates, he's the only person, the only politician cares for this community, and he came to them and attended in that football, game, and took the pictures, and he handshake each and every person. And that is a very great thing, you see, because a man who cares about you, who stands for you, who stands for your, you see, activities, events, what your children, your youth, they want. You see, he came from his home. 1st July, it was a busy day, and came to see these people. That is a very great, and I appreciate. Thank you very much for that. Yes.